Have you ever woken up and felt that something was wrong or that someone was here in the room with you? And when you try to move, you just can't. For me, the first time I felt a presence, and some other times I even heard noises. This episode is all about demystifying sleep paralysis. It's one of those experiences that can feel really strange and unsettling, but once you understand what's really happening, it just makes the whole thing a lot easier to handle. So let's dive in. First of all, hi everyone. Welcome back to Dreams Alchemy. So yes, today we're diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of a horror movie. But it's actually a very real experience that affects millions of people around the world. Yes, we're talking about sleep paralysis. Now imagine this. You wake up in the middle of the night, you're completely aware of your surroundings, but you can't move, you can't speak or call out for help. And in some cases, you might sense a shadowy presence in the room or even feel something that is pressing down on your chest. Sounds terrifying, right? Well, if you've experienced this, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's fascinating scientific explanation for what's happening. So today we're going to unpack the mystery of sleep paralysis, understand why it happens, and learn what you can do about it. So let me start by sharing something personal. A while back, I went through an experience that completely freaked me out. And I want to tell you about it because it perfectly illustrates what sleep paralysis actually feels like. I was in bed and I kind of woke up, but the strange part is that my eyes were still closed, yet somehow it felt like I was still able to look at the room. I could sense everything around me, and then I felt it, a presence in the room. I heard footsteps around the bed, coming closer. They were on the left side of the bed, and honestly, at first, I was pretty neutral about it. I'd experienced something like this before, so I just thought, okay, don't move. Maybe it will go away. Just play dead. But then everything changed. I heard quick footsteps like something was running right next to me, right next to the bed, and something felt really, really close to me on the left side of the bed. Then came these really weird noises, and that's when my body reacted. Anxiety flooded through me. My heart was racing. I wanted to move away, to cover myself more, to do something, anything, but I just couldn't. I was terrified that whatever this thing was, it was going to attack me. And I couldn't move to protect myself. I even tried to talk, tried to call out, but I couldn't move my lips, I couldn't move my tongue, I just couldn't move at all. I had to just wait until this presence finished making these noises. Then I tried to move my fingers very gently, very softly. At first, I couldn't do it, not at all, but after what felt like forever, I was finally able to wiggle them just a little. I was able to move my hand and put it over my heart to protect myself. I could finally move my jaw, and I took a long, deep breath. And then finally, I was able to open my eyes. Now, this experience isn't unique to me. Studies suggest that about 8% of the general population has experienced sleep paralysis at least once, with even higher rates among students and people with certain sleep disorders. It's more common than most people realize, actually. So, what exactly is happening during sleep paralysis? To understand this, we need to talk about REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep. This is the stage of sleep where most of our vivid dreaming happens. And the really interesting part, during REM sleep, your brain essentially paralyzes your body. This is called REM atonia, and it's actually a protective mechanism. Now, here's where things get really wild. Sleep paralysis itself, the inability to move, that's one thing. But many people also experience hallucinations during these episodes, just like I did. And these aren't just random images, they tend to fall into specific categories. Researchers have identified three main types of hallucinations that commonly occur during sleep paralysis. First, there is the intruder hallucination. This is what I experienced. People report sensing a presence in the room, often hearing footsteps or strange noises, or feeling like someone or something is watching them or getting closer. This is by far the most terrifying for most people. Second, there is the invicus hallucination. This one involves feeling of pressure on the chest, difficulty breathing, or sensation of being choked or suffocating. Some people describe it as feeling like someone is sitting on their chest. This type has actually been documented throughout history and across many different cultures, which we'll talk about in a second. And third, there are vestibular motor hallucinations. This involves sensations of movement like floating, flying, falling, or having an out-of-body experience. Some people report feeling like they are being pulled out of bed or spinning through space. Now, you might be wondering, why this specific type of hallucinations? Why not just random dream imageries? Scientists believe that it has to do with the unique brain state during sleep paralysis. You're in this hybrid state between REM sleep and wakefulness. Parts of your brain associates with dreaming and they are still active, while the parts associated with logical thinking are coming online. And in the same time, you're experiencing this very real physical sensation of being unable to move. Your brain is trying to make sense of this confusing situation. You can't move, and your brain is searching for an explanation. The most logical explanation for why you can't move is that something is holding you down or threatening you. So your brain generates these threatening presences as a way to explain what you're experiencing, basically. That strange detail I mentioned earlier about my eyes being closed but still being able to see the room, that's part of this bizarre hybrid state. Your brain is processing spatial awareness and creating this sense of vision even though your eyes aren't actually open. It adds to the surreal, unsettling nature of the experience. The chest pressure and breathing difficulty are actually related to the fact that during REM sleep, your breathing is controlled more automatically, and you have less voluntary control over it. When you wake up during this state, you notice this different breathing pattern, and it can feel like you can't breathe properly, even though you're actually getting enough air. What's really fascinating is that these experiences have been documented throughout human history and across every culture. In Newfoundland, they call it the old hag and believe a witch is sitting on your chest. In Japan, it's kanashibari, which literally means bound by metal. In Egyptian culture, it's believed to be caused by a jinn or a demon. In medieval Europeans, they call it incubi or succubi, demons that would visit people in their sleep. Every culture has tried to explain this phenomenon through their own lens, but they're all describing the same experience at the end. It's a testament to how universal this is, and it's just a deeply human experience. So let's talk about who experiences sleep paralysis and what triggers it. Because understanding what causes it can really help you prevent it from happening. While it can happen to anyone, there are certain factors that make it more likely. And when I look back at my own experience, all the risk factors were there. Sleep deprivation and irregular sleep schedules are major triggers. At the time I experienced that episode, I wasn't having the healthiest sleep patterns. Some nights I stay up late, other nights I'll go to bed early. Some nights I'll get 10 hours of sleep, other nights I only get 6. My sleep schedule was all over the place, and that inconsistency creates the perfect condition for sleep paralysis. College students, for example, have a much higher rate of sleep paralysis than the general population. Probably because they're often sleep deprived and have a irregular sleep schedule. Sleeping on your back also increases the likelihood. Scientists haven't entirely found out why, but it's a consistent finding across multiple studies. Stress and anxiety are also significant triggers. When you're under a lot of stress, your sleep quality tends to suffer, and that can create the conditions for sleep paralysis. For me, I was working on healing my vision, and things were settling but not getting better yet. I knew there was movement in the right direction, but I wasn't 100% sure how well everything was going to work out. Um, and that underlying stress and uncertainty definitely played a role. Evening habits matter too. I was drinking alcohol sometimes before bed, and I'd scroll on social media on my iPad right before to go to sleep, and both of these things disrupt your sleep quality and can trigger episodes. Alcohol might help you fall asleep initially, but it actually interfere with your REM cycle, and the blue light from screens plus the mental stimulation from social media can make it harder for your brain to transition smoothly through the different sleep stages. Certain sleep disorders increase the risk as well. People with narcolepsy experience sleep paralysis much more frequently. About 25 to 50% of people with narcolepsy have regular sleep paralysis episodes. It's also more common in people who have other sleep disorders like sleep apn- sleep apnea. There's also some evidence on genetic component. If family members experience sleep paralysis, you're more likely to experience it yourself. And some medications can trigger it too, particularly antidepressants, ADHD medications, and medications that affect your sleep-awake cycle. The good news is that for most people, sleep paralysis is isolated and infrequent. It's not actually a sign of a serious medical problem. It's just your sleep cycle getting a bit out of sync. Often because of lifestyle factors that you can actually control. So, let's say you've experienced sleep paralysis or you are experiencing it regularly. What can you do about it? First, the most important thing to know is that sleep paralysis is not dangerous. It feels terrifying, absolutely, but it cannot harm you. You're not dying, you're not going to stop breathing, and it will pass. Knowing this can help reduce some of the fear when it's happening. If you're in the middle of an episode, here are some strategies that people find helpful, and some of these are things I naturally did during my own experience. First, try to stay calm. I know that's easier said than done, but panicking can make the experience feel worse and last longer. Remember that this is temporary and it will end soon. Also, focus on small movements. This is exactly what I did. I tried to wiggle my finger very gently, very softly. At first, I couldn't do it at all, but eventually I could move them just a little, and that helped break out of the paralysis. Many people find that concentrating on moving a small body part, like your toes, fingers, or even just moving your eyes, can help end this episode faster. You can also focus on your breathing. Since you can't control much else, focusing on taking slow, steady breaths can help you stay calm and may help end this episode sooner. And don't fight it too hard. Sometimes trying to force yourself to move can increase the panic. Some people find that just relaxing and waiting it out is more effective. But what about preventing it to happen in the first place? That's where sleep hygiene comes in, and this is really the key to reducing sleep paralysis episodes. Maintain a regular sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends, yes. This helps regulate your REM cycle and reduces the chances of that disconnect happening. Looking back, my irregular schedule was probably the bigger factor in my episode. Get enough sleep. Most adults need in between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. If you're consistently sleep deprived, you're setting yourself up for sleep paralysis. Also, avoid sleeping on your back. Try sleeping on your side instead. This simple change reduces episodes for many people. If you can, manage your stress. Easier said than done, I know, but finding healthy ways to manage stress, whether that's exercise, medication, therapy, or just regular downtime before to go to bed, can make a significant difference. You can also avoid heavy meals, caffeine, and alcohol close to bedtime. These can all disrupt your sleep quality and increase the likelihood of sleep paralysis. I learned this one the hard way. Put your phone away before bed. That habit of scrolling social media right before sleep, it's not doing you any favors. Try to avoid screen at least 30 minutes before bed. If you can, 2 hours is perfect. Oh, and create a good sleep environment. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Make it a place that is conducive to good sleep. For most people, these life changes are enough to significantly reduce or eliminate sleep paralysis episodes. However, if you're experiencing sleep paralysis very frequently, or if it's significantly impacting your quality of life, it's worth talking to a doctor or a sleep specialist. In rare cases, frequent sleep paralysis can be a sign of narcolepsy or another sleep disorder that needs treatment. A sleep specialist can also prescribe medications if necessary, though this is usually only recommended for very severe cases. So, let's bring this all together. Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon where you wake up, but your body is still in that paralyzed state from REM sleep. It can come with vivid, often frightening hallucinations, but it's not dangerous, and it's not a sign that something is seriously wrong. It's been experienced throughout human history and has been interpreted through countless cultural lenses, from demons to witches to supernatural forces. But the scientific explanation, while less mystical, is actually pretty fascinating. It's a window into how our brains, manage the complex process of sleep and waking. If you experience it, the best things you can do are maintain good sleep hygiene, reduce stress, get enough sleep, avoid those bad evening habits like alcohol and screen time before bed, and remember that it's temporary and harmless. And if you're experiencing it frequently, don't hesitate to talk to a healthcare provider. There are treatments available, and you don't have to just live with it if it's affecting your quality of life. I hope this episode has demystified sleep paralysis for you. Whether you've experienced it yourself or you're just curious about this strange phenomenon, understanding what actually is happening can take away a lot of the fear. It certainly helped me understand my own experience better. Thank you so much for listening. If you find this helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit. And at the end of the day, keep dreaming. You're the alchemist. Bye.